we're going to show you how to make a DIY personalized pumpkin sign. And all you need is material from a Dollar Tree. You're going to need these 3 beware signs, a pumpkin for tracing, some fall leaves, some rollers, you need at least 3, some paintbrushes, pencils, paint marker, scissors, something just to put your paint on, and white spray paint, gray spray paint, some orange and brown paint, and or if you like the gray color better, and something for ribbon, which is optional. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go in here. We're going to have to hot glue these signs together. You're going to take your scissors and just cut these ribbons off. I've already done it off the other 2. And you're just gonna lay them like this. You have an option if you want. You see these holes? You can put wood putty in them if you want, but they're not so big, so I'm not gonna worry about it. Just line them up. And you're also going to need a hot glue gun for this, which I didn't have down there, but I had them plugged up from here too. And I think you're going to need at least 3 of these rulers, or as wide as they are. Just to make sure, because this is what's going to hold your signs together. And just make sure you got them lined up there. You're just going to take your hot glue. Just make sure you got it in good. And just flip that over. Just be careful with that glue, it's staying hot. And just hold it for a second, just to get it set. You're going to do the same thing with the other 2. Once you have that in place, you have your sign. You're going to put this over. And this is what we're going to paint on. This is the side you're going to paint your pumpkin on. And I'm going to take this outside now and we're going to spray it. Okay. We're back. We had to let this dry, but the spray paint we have and the wind outside was not working with us. So what I did was just took some gray paint, a little darker one and a little lighter one, just kind of mixed it together and painted this. But you can spray paint it. It's just that the wind and the weather wasn't working for us too good. So, but right now we're going to take our leaves, and all of this is from Dollar Tree. Just take your leaves. I did have to take the little insides out. Let's make sure that that's taken out of there. And I've got some laid out, but take your pumpkin. That way you can judge it. I'm not going to put this little frilly design in there. We're just going to trace this pumpkin. But I want to make sure some of my leaves are actually where you can see them. And you're just going to take your leaves and you're going to lay them out in a pattern just around it. You can let some hang off. Just make it look like the leaves are falling. And it's just as many as yours, or less as you want on there. Okay. And I've got mine laid out there. I'm going to take this back up. Just put it to the side for now. And I'm going to just take a little low heat glue gun. And this is just to help the leaves stay on while we spray paint it. And it should come off okay. Just don't put that much glue on it, just a little. Just enough just to get the leaf to stick. And we're just going to go around with all those. And I'm going to take this back outside and hopefully the weather will work this time for the white spray paint. The wind's still a little bad out there, but all you're going to do is just take this spray paint, make sure you get over the top. That way you don't get inside the leaf there. You just want the shape of the leaf. And make sure you get make sure you get the outside edges really good. And the glue gun glue off of it. The strings from the glue gun. And then after you spray painted it white and you let it dry just a few seconds, it doesn't take that long to dry. You're just going to take your leaves off. It may peel up a little of the paint, but if it does, remember we painted it with the other paint, so you can just go back and touch it up, and I kind of like it that way, so it just look a little distressed look to it. You're just going to peel those leaves off. And I'm just going to let this dry overnight, just make sure it's really dry, because I don't want that mixing in with my orange paint when I try to put my pumpkin on it. And there you have your leaves. Hey everybody, we're back today. We let this set overnight just so to make sure everything was dry, because for today we're going to have to do some blending with paint and all, and I just wanted to make sure these bottom layers were dry enough. But today we're going to start with just take your pumpkin, you got mat from Dollar Tree, and we're going to use this as a template for our pumpkin that we're going to paint on here. All you got to do is just position it where you want it. And that's why I said focus just on the outside, because this pumpkin's so big it's going to cover up a lot of it. So what we're going to do is just go around it and trace it. I'm not going to do the leaf in there, so I'm just going to try and just freehand that. Like I said, you're going to paint it anyway. I'm just going to trace around this pumpkin. And you see that little spot that was left there, so what I'm going to do is just kind of mimic what I see there. If you're not good with drawing, you can always just flip it over and kind of mimic it that way also. It's just really just drawing some just little humps, little bumps for the pumpkins. That's all it is, because we're going to paint this now. Okay, what we're going to do is, a lot of the oranges you get from the craft stores are really bright. They're not really, and this is a more of a muted fall colors. So I'm going to take some, you see how bright that orange is? I want this to be a little bit lighter. So I'm going to take some brown. Take my brown and I'm going to mix it in just to make it a little bit darker. But if you want it bright colors, you can just paint the orange on there. And just mix in until you get the color you want. Just tip though, excuse me, tip though, just make sure you have enough of paint. It's best just to do extra, just to make sure, because once you've mixed your paint, sometimes it's harder to match that color. So just always do just a little extra. And I think this is about where I want it anyway. You see how compared to that color, it's more of, and two, this shows the highlights better also. Now I'm going to start painting this pumpkin, and then when I finish it, we're going to show you, we're going to start straight on the highlights after that, okay? Alrighty. Now after we got that done, and it goes on pretty fast, we're going to start with highlighting. And it's not that hard. You just take the two colors you actually use for your mixing your paints together, and you're going to use these for your highlights. I'm just going to pour a little in here. A little bit of a brown. Now the orange I'm going to use for the inside, a lot of it on the inside of it. And you're just going to see, and it's still wet, so this will help with your blending. Just go in, you want the shape of the pumpkin, and you're just kind of, where those curves are, you're just kind of going in there and adding a little extra that brighter orange. And it'll help you get the curvature of your pumpkin. And you just kind of pick where you want it. Now with the brown, it's more for the outline. It's more of an outliner. You know how when you do a coloring book, it's got the dark outline to it. This is kind of what we're gonna do here. We're gonna go in and you get it as dark or as light as you want it, but you kind of want to be able to see it just a little. And it's just you're going in and you're gonna do the same thing as you did with that orange, except for you're gonna put in like close to where you put that bright orange, and it's gonna give you that highlighted look, and it makes it look like makes it a little bit more professional. And it's just an easy, simple trick that everybody can do. Go around it at the bottom. So like I said, you just kind of outline it with the brown. Now if you don't like it, where you've seen a highlight you didn't like, just take your first color, go back over it, and redo it. It's as simple as that. There's no mess ups. You just keep going until you get it highlighted the way you want it. And fixed. We got your pumpkin all ready. I'm gonna let this sit for a few minutes and dry, and then we're gonna start on our personalization, our letter. And all you're gonna need for this is, while you wait for that to dry, you can take your home computer and just print out your letter of your last name or whatever letter you like to use. If you don't want to use a letter, you can always use welcome, happy fall, y'all, anything like that. But we're gonna use a letter today. We're back. It's dry now. The pumpkin's dry, and we can start on our letter. And while it was drying, we just print. You can just take your time and print that out. What you're gonna do in order to trace this on there, flip it upside down, and you're just gonna take your pencil and just color it. This is gonna be like your carbon copy to help you trace it on the back. Just make sure you get all of it. And now if you're good with freehanding it, you can freehand it. But I'm just gonna use this, and I'm gonna cut off some of this excess paper to help me judge where the middle is. Okay. And we're just gonna kind of try and put it in the middle. And we're just gonna take our pencil and we're just gonna trace over it. I kind of color it a little, just so you can, because we're gonna go back over this with our paint marker. Just kind of want to go down hard on it. That way you're getting your traced outline. Get my finger out of the way. Your traced outline of it. Should be on there, and it's pretty dark so you can see it. That's why you just make sure you got that dark enough on the back side, and that'll help you trace it. That's the easy and short trick to tracing letters, unless you have a stencil. And now we're going to take our paint marker. Get it open. And we're going to use this to trace it with. This is just going to give you your outline. So when you go to paint it in with your black paint. Okay, I probably should have done it the other way. Okay. And these little paint markers are really good to have too. Okay. And now all it's left to do is fill it in with your black paint. Just squirt some in your little tray or your plate, whatever you were using. This way. And just start filling it in. Okay, and while that's drying, just for the sake of time, you can, if you want to, you can. It's totally up to you. You can take some sandpaper and just make sure you go in one direction. And you can use this to help distress it. Don't go over like the whole thing, but just distress it. It makes it look like old barn wood or old recycled wood. Try not to get your pumpkin. We just want to use just the parts where the leaves are. You can use as heavy or as light-handed as you want. It's just this sandpaper we had. It was kind of coarse, so I'm not using too much pressure on it. And the last thing to do, I know that's still drying, but the last thing to do is take it's optional. You can also use some leaves if you want to go around your pumpkin, but we chose to do a ribbon. Let me get this off, and I believe we also got this from Dollar Tree also. If not, I think it was Walmart. More tape. And all you do, I found this on a video that was really simple and easy. You just fold it twice over and you cut it. And that's your fluffy bow. Now this does work good with wired ribbon also. And this takes a little bit longer than what your actual piece was, your first ones were. I'm gonna flip it upside down. And I also took, you can cut them off, but off of the beware signs where they had it where you can actually hang it. I'm gonna use the black ribbon to kind of help tie in the black paint. And you're going to take your ribbon and lay that on top of that. And you're just going to tie it. This is just for helping hold. Once you got that in there, you can cut off the excess. Try to make sure you got it tight enough. I hope I did. Now fluff up our bow. And you can take your ends and you're going to cut like a V inside of it. It just makes it look for a cleaner edge. Glue this on. Get your bow where you kind of want it, and take some hot glue, and we're going to stick it right at the top of our pumpkin, where our stem's going, our pumpkin stem would be. Just try not to cover up your letter. But I'm going to turn this around so you can see it, and this is your end product. This is your personalized pumpkin sign, and you can actually glue some ribbon on the side where you can hang it up, or you can just prop this up on your porch. Just make sure it's not where the rain and weather will get to it. I hope y'all enjoyed.